Hi loves, I hope you're all doing well. I hope that June treated you well and not too much has been exposed or, broken down with so many more planets motioning retrograde. But let me know in the comments down below what word kind of really summed up June for you. Okay, so obviously the style of this reading is not how I even imagined. Now that, my chart isn't so vigorously activated, I should be able to do normal horoscopes starting next month. So I hope that this podcast style reading is okay for you. So essentially, obviously, we're going to just walk through. I'm going to be walking you through the month of July, touching on the astrology, my own intuitive insights for the month for your personal sign. Check your sun, your moon, and your rising sign. When it comes to the astrology, I feel, well, it depends. I'm not going to tell you what to do. So definitely there is this feeling in July about feeling exposed, right? We're still in eclipse transition season, right? So we're still in this transitional phase as we're wrapping up and finalizing the karmic build-up of Cancer Capricorn while embarking upon the abundant and exuberance of Gemini Sagittarius eclipses, right? So whenever the nodes dealing with fate and karma reach those last few degrees of a sign and the beginning degrees of a sign, this is like potent energy, okay? And it really can give that vibe of exposure. It's like cracking an egg open to reveal the goo inside, right? Once Pandora's box has been opened, it's impossible to, shut it away. After all, you can't uncrack an egg, right? So the planetary vibes for this month. So as we begin, and I like to look at, sunrise and kind of like where the planets are to really get a tone or a notion as to what this month can bring. And July 1st, we have the sun in Cancer pressing up upon, Mercury retrograde, okay? With the moon, the ruler of the sun, okay, the ruler of the chart, really, like the moon is in Scorpio and it's opposing Uranus. So when we're having Scorpio Uranus vibes, this is again a very expository vibe that we're experiencing, right? Mercury is still going to be retrograde until July 12th in the sign of Cancer, and when Mercury is retrograde in the sign of Cancer, we can find ourselves even exposing ourselves, exposing things from the past. Now usually in true Mercury fashion, it happens accidentally. The past gets brought up and then it gets dragged out into the open, and we discover things that we discover something and we kind of are faced with remembering it in a way that actualizes what really actually happened. So words like accountability are really strong for the month of July, especially, when we're looking at Saturn re-emerging back into the sign of Capricorn to join with Pluto and Jupiter for the new moon, okay, that's going to happen at the latter degrees of Cancer towards the end of the month. But Mercury is the messenger, okay? He travels between realms to get you the information that you need, okay? Mercury retrograde in Cancer unveils the part of you that needs to be heard, the part of you that needs to be healed, okay? So Cancer deals with things that, weigh heavy on our hearts. Emotions tend to be heightened, repressed memories resurface. There are memories and themes surrounding that sense of belonging, childhood, and the past, right? The inner child is almost throwing a tantrum with all of this energy and all of this, stuff that is being projected onto Cancer right now as we're wrapping up a big cycle. Things don't go to plan, and it can make you feel like a child again, feeling completely out of control, feeling controlless. And, the thing is, right, we have to remember Mars is in Aries, okay? This is crucial that we remember we can only control ourselves. We do not get to control the way that other people respond to us, our emotions, our actions, our thoughts, our feelings. We don't get to control that, okay? So July really is about owning up and showing up for yourself. It's about listening and hearing what you've not allowed, you've not allowed yourself to hear before. It's about owning all that you are, not just the parts of you that you feel are or will be deemed worthy. July can expose themes around parenthood and acknowledging the parts of us that are not necessarily our own, but have been imprinted upon us with, the generational patterns that are passed on through us from our parents and our grandparents and our great grandparents and those early life experiences, because when a baby comes in, a baby isn't born racist, a baby isn't born with hate in its heart, a baby isn't born selfish, a baby isn't born any of these things. A baby, for the first 7 years of your life, you learn and you imitate and you imprint like a psychic sponge, Cancer sponge, right? You kind of, you take on, the karmas and the stuff of, your parents, because they are your first understanding of the world. And, so it's kind of like your past influence forges who you are, but your responding actions or reactions, that's all you right now, right? Because I'm sure nobody listening to this is a child, right? So nobody is to blame for what you do but you. Okay, so with many planets that are in retrograde this month, okay, we're being forced to look back, way back, and to right and heal the wrongs that have been made and have been done, right? Because Cancer, Capricorn eclipses, they only come about every 18 years. And the cycle is even more significant because we have planets that have been together, they haven't been together for hundreds of years, and now they're coming back in. So it's bringing those karmas from that time period of when they were together last, which is big, which is why big stuff is happening right now. It has to happen. It has to feel uncomfortable. It has to feel these ickiness, right? It has to feel this way, uncomfortable, in order to pave the way for change, right? Because nothing new can be built on something old. You have to destroy it, right? You have to destroy what was once there in order to rebuild. Otherwise you have, you end up with root rot and stuff that will just it's just not good, right? So we can definitely clearly see, looking at the astrology, that there is an imbalance with power dynamics, right? Saturn, when it was in Aquarius, obviously it will enter back into Aquarius permanently in December again. But we, the people are realizing power lies within us all along, right? The people that we elect, into positions of power, fame, and influence are only there because we put them there. With support, with attention, with our money, with purchases. And as quick as we give our time, our energy, and our money, we can decide not to. And the only person that you can control, again, this is a Mars and Aries issue, is you, right? You need to not only speak your standard, but you need to live it. You need to also take action upon it. You can't hide from yourself right now. That is literally impossible with the planetary energy that's going on. And people around you, we're all seeing people for who they really are, and if you live in your authenticity, there's nothing to fear because you're not hiding from the shadow of yourself, right? You're not hiding from yourself. But those who live in the realm of make-believe and are consumed by the external, and there is no judgment. I don't say that with judgment in my heart, not at all. Everything happens for a reason. It's a part of your life experience and your life journey. But living in the Neptunian realms of social media, it can be a time where that mask will slip because literally everything is recorded. Everything, there are receipts, right? There's receipts for everything, and we're going to see an uprise in those receipts when it comes to those things. And a lot of it is bringing the past back up. The past is being resurrected, with that Pluto looking at that new moon, a lot of those things are coming back to the surface. So as I said, okay, July has this element of a continual exposure, and I sense that the information, correspondences and miscommunications are still highly likely for the month of July, but the central vibe is in and surrounding change, okay? Sudden and unexpected, out of the box, shocking stuff coming to light this month. So whatever is revealed, it will alter everything for you. you know. So once you know something, once you learn something, it's like a domino effect in your brain, right? Everything starts to get rewired in a sense. So it can change your home, it can change your family dynamics, it can change your beliefs about someone or something. It can even change or bring about a change in about, you know, your careers or your ambitions as a result of the events that unfold in July. You might discover or learn or explore something that changes things for you. But honestly, like, what I'm seeing is a flip on the script that is your life, be it in love, home, work, or even yourself somehow. But I also have to add that whatever happens is somehow supposed to happen. There's a touch of destiny about it. The nodes are involved, destiny is upon us, right? So I know some of the things that I've already mentioned about July, if you've made it this far into the reading, they can seem a little bit triggering. I only tell you what I see and what I sense, and I assure you that there's a lot here that is aligning you to your purpose this month. Sometimes shocking events need to happen to trigger us into action, to make the change, to move and shake things up. And a lot of what I feel will build, and perhaps it might not even culminate until we get into November this year. But significant things are happening in July to inspire action and change. So, you know, whatever you wanted, you know, you might decide this month that you don't want it anymore. Mercury goes direct, and, you know, so, you know, if you have been making bad choices, falling back into past behaviors, habits, relationships, etc., right? You might, in the second part of this month, discover nothing's actually changed at all. And those old problems, they're all still there. Now, I do have a link in the information box below if you want to check out more about your personal Mercury retrograde transit. But now let's move on to the month of July, right? If you would like me to, you know, look at all of this for you in a personal session, feel free to check out my services. I will also leave a link in the cards and in the information box below. Okay, so Taurus Suns, Moons and Risings. So I definitely feel like yourself, you know, what's on your mind over the course of July. I feel like it's all in and surrounding maybe matters of home, family, security. These types of topics I really do feel are going to be highlighted for you for the month of July. It could be that either you're thinking of moving or spending some time away, or perhaps the family dynamics is beginning to shift and to change over the course of the month of July. Now, it could be as well with the new moon in Cancer opposite your 7th house ruler, that maybe like topics surrounding, you know, contracts, legal documentation about home or property may come up. Now, obviously, when I'm saying like your property, that could be cars and vehicles, anything that you own that, you know, maybe other people could potentially have access to. You know, that stuff might be coming up for you in the month of July. Now, a lot of this month is in and surrounding, obviously, home and family. I feel like there's an aspect or an element surrounding security, home and family. Like, I'm totally picking up on that vibe because the first image that I saw was house. Now, when I'm looking at the astrology as well, though, I do feel like a lot of July is also highlighting your communications, information, news, this back and forth type of conversations. And you could as well discover perhaps something, I mean, I said at the beginning, you know, at the beginning of the video, that there were going to be certain changes, okay, that are going to be happening. And as a result of these things that you discover, it's going to act like a domino effect. You know, you find something out and then it kind of initiates a lot of change within you, surrounding you, so on and so forth, right? So perhaps even if this change, indirectly speaking, even if at first it feels daunting or problematic, it will probably actually turn out to bring a positive change your way. Like, it's happening for a reason. Try not to look at it as an issue or a big problem, because I actually feel like there is a lot of positivity coming out of the changes that are about to take place, that are about to happen for you. So don't be afraid to explore or to try something new this month, because you might actually discover something actually truly surprising with what comes about. Now, also, I probably should mention, obviously, your second house ruler is still retrograde in the sign of Cancer. So, you know, I do kind of get a bit of a vibe of like a hidden cost or a bill that's unaccounted for coming in, perhaps. Again, the new moon at the end of the month is connected to, it will be in aspect to the ruler of your 7th and your 8th house. So this deals with other people's money. It deals with debts and contracts and agreements. I would also say as well, like maybe there could even be some family news this month. Maybe there's a pregnancy in the family. Maybe someone's thinking of getting married and moving out. I don't know. Like, I feel as you're kind of leaving one chapter of your life, like this new door of possibility is opening up for you. And it could even perhaps, maybe there could even be recognition for like a job well done. Like, it's almost like this transitional phase. Like, it's something that you want, but it's happening in a way that maybe you don't expect it to happen. You also have Mars in the 12th house, and it's going to be here for the next 6 months. So you might find, you know, there's a lot of digging through things. You might not sleep so well. You might have a lot on your mind. Tension, headaches could be a thing for you. Not always, but, you know, it can. You might, you know, just feel a bit restless. You know, they could bring up certain wounds from like childhood, because Chiron is also obviously in the sign of Aries. So it can kind of be a little bit reflective, you know, thinking back on like perhaps, you know, past relationships, just kind of repressed memories coming to the surface. Your dreams might be a lot more vivid. Again, though, it usually just plays out with a restlessness, you know, always having like something on your mind, perhaps. I mean, you're not usually the worrying kind, you know, you're an action, go do it type of a person. So yeah, like I just feel like, like sleep might be a little bit tricky this month, you know, so pay attention to your dreams and whatnot. I think that's everything. I just feel like that there's gonna be information. Okay, there's going to be a lot of stuff that's being revealed, and Taurus as a sign typically doesn't do well with change, even though you have Uranus moving through the sign of Taurus, which is literally shaking things up. Like, your whole world is like shifting and changing and adapting and evolving, right? Which is a good thing, you know, because it's changing the way that you do life. But there could be some sort of deep-rooted things that you might still be a little bit stubborn about, and those things are kind of being challenged to be like shook and free a little bit. I do feel, you know, this could be a time where, you know, you might want to, I don't know, like connect, maybe even like connect to new groups of people, you know, get support from like-minded friends, you know, focus in on maybe making new friendship circles, connecting with new people to broaden your circle in a way. You know, it's kind of like some Tauruses, you know, you can be really family orientated, which is, you know, no shame in that, but if you have been that sort of a person where you're constantly surrounded by family members, you know, with Uranus moving through that sign of Taurus, it's going to shake that up. It's going to change the dynamic in some way, right? Whether it is that your family members are all getting married and moving and having babies, or, you know, whatever it is. And it can make you feel like, you know, you've kind of dedicated your life to your family, you've dedicated your life to something, and now everything is shifting and changing. You're kind of having to find that new sense of belonging of, okay, well, where do I belong now? Where do I belong next, right? Because these Cancer and Capricorn karmic houses are now wrapping up, and you won't experience it again for another 18 years. And it won't be as intense in 18 years necessarily, because you're not going to have Pluto here, you're not necessarily going to have Saturn here, right? So it's going to really bring around a different kind of vibe. So this is like a really pivotal moment, you know, for the past, or at least for the past 2-3 years. You know, you've been learning new skills, adapting, you know, needing to kind of branch out when it comes to your environment, right? Your environment is changing. Your day to day, you know, your routinely matters, it's all changing. And I feel like for the month of July, there is a lot of focus that is coming into the home, right? There's a lot of focus coming into the home. There's a lot of like communicational things, you know, discovering certain things. When we're thinking about the energy of Cancer, Cancer's ruled by the moon, and the moon is constantly changing. So this can definitely be, I mean, you might even find that, you know, June, like the end of June into mid-July, is always a kind of month for you that is a little bit crazy, a little bit busy, lots going on. But even more so, like, you haven't experienced this kind of energy when it comes to these matters for like 7 years, right? Because Mercury only goes retrograde in each of the signs around every 7-8 years. So, you know, there's a lot here that you're unpacking, a lot here that is likely to be shifting and changing in and surrounding your immediate environment. And it's all about helping you to branch out, to try something new. So hopefully you can relate. Thank you so much for listening to me, and I will see you in another video. Bye.